Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.
Do we have any sponsors? Let's, how we starting it off tonight,
dude? The name of the episode is already. You can just type it up now. Pinky is a piece of shit. Piece of shit.
Okay.
Just type it up now.
Should it be is or was?
We could just do in perpetuity.
in
perpetuity. From henceforth and evermore. In times past and times yet unrealized. He's a piece of shit.
Well, I'm gonna need to be convinced.
Listen. Oh, dude. I brought receipts. I'm ready.
Let's get right into it.
All right,
and just so you know, just so everybody's aware, full disclosure, I may or may not be on the tail end of a psychedelic experience. So let's just put that on the table. It was that kind of day.
Well, look, you're in a much better headspace than me, and I don't envy you. I celebrate you. Beautiful. I celebrate that you're in a better place. That's how I choose to look at that.
That's a good place to be.
So this is going to be rife with self-loathing and confessions and just griping and being in astonishment. Like when you have an out-of-body experience and you look at yourself and you're just in awe of your bitch acidness. Like, wow.
Yeah, this is already heavy and front-loaded right now. So I'm feeling like we're about to go deep.
So as far as sponsors, today's sponsor is brought to you by Drawful from Jack in the Box Games. You could play it on PlayStation or Switch or Xbox or any of them shit, yo. Stop playing Call of Duty and spend some time with your family, you piece of shit. It's a game where you draw pictures and you and the elderly and the small and whoever are all capable of playing it. You play it on your cell phone. You don't even need a controller. You draw little pictures on the cell phone, and other people guess what you drew, and you all laugh at each other's shitty drawings, and you bond together as a family. Jack in the Box Games, Drawful, eat that shit, yo.
It sounds wholesome.
So, first confession is this is more white secrets. I bring the receipts, I bring the goods, I deliver. I guarantee you, there are no black children that have ever done this. This is uncharted territory. And you can ask as many as you want. And I guarantee you, you will never find any, scour the globe, no black children have ever done this. Okay. But I'll reveal the white secrets. So me and my brother and my girlfriend went over to my mother's for Christmas. So this is an old story. It's an old story that I've forgotten several weeks in a row. So my mother loves playing Jeopardy with us, even though she never wins. Me and my brother buzz too quick and we know too much useless shit. So it's usually me winning and him coming in close and my mother having a good time just playing Jeopardy. She feels like she's on the TV show. So there's another game that we force her to play because my girlfriend loves it and my brother loves it. And it's the Drawful game, our sponsor, who has sent us huge sacks of money for broadcasting the greatness of their game through the airwaves. We appreciate you giving us money. We both need and want your money, and we'll put it to good use. We'll probably buy a lot of GameStop and AMC stocks with it. So, absolutely. With this game, you draw little pictures, and as it posts the picture, it doesn't tell you who drew it, but it recreates it on the screen, right? And it draws it in order that you drew it on your phone. So it recreates the exact, the exact sequence in which you put everything on there. So what we started to do in front of our mother is we make sure to hide a dick in every single picture. Oh my God. So the first thing that you see drawn in the picture, it looks like a dick and balls, but it ends up being eyeballs and a nose of a character in the picture. And at first it's really subtle. So if you're paying attention, you see that a dick is drawn first and foremost, and then everything else around it is drawn. And she's not picking up on it at first. And my girlfriend is livid with me. This is so disrespectful. You're a fucking asshole. Because again, not white.
Right?
Not
Yeah.
something she would do to her parents. But the two white children are like, there's a dick. So she's not picking up on it. So each picture me and my brother draw gets more and more obvious to where it's not even a subtle little picture. Like draw a picture of a bus. There'll be a picture of a bus, and the very last thing will be a little stick figure with a huge dick just pointing at the bus.
Right. Right.
So it starts getting just
Yeah.
ridiculously brazen.
I
And
can't
as
even imagine. This is okay. I don't want to. I don't want to cut your story because this is beautiful, but I can't even imagine black people in the room. So that tells you where my brain is. I'm like envisioning the situation,
right,
and as I envision the situation, there's no black people in the room. This
right,
is some expressly white folk shit.
would just be uncomfortable. Would just be uncomfortable. And my girl was appalled by it. But I got her on board because by the end of the evening, she was cracking up and laughing as my mother got more and more disturbed and upset by the entire thing.
Wow,
And we found it hilarious. We
that's
found it.
that's that's special. That's special.
Is that
I,
fair? I wasn't trying to be racist. I was trying to be honest. That's fair? That's some shit only white people would do.
oh yeah,
No?
I give you
Okay.
100% co-sign to be able to make that statement with absolute surety that there's nowhere on this planet that black people are hanging out. Like they might be playing that game. That I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure black folks, I've played that game with some friends, not the exact game, but something similar to that on Xbox with the everybody gets in, it's fun. But yeah, I can't imagine black folks sitting in the room drawing dicks around their parents.
Okay. Well
I
then,
yeah, I can't see a situation where that's happening. I can't.
white secrets. You're welcome, America.
Wow.
See that level of honesty? It's full disclosure. And I need to clarify something. Okay? Cuz it sounds on the last episode that I was just trying to humble brag that I made money. So I'm glad I lost about 4K today. And I'm not worried about it. I'm going to double up. You buy the dip. You buy the dip. I'm not worried about it. But
Right.
it's fitting that I lost a little bit today. And that's good because I was not trying to humble brag. The context of the conversation was, hey, I know a dude with marble columns and he's got temperature controlled wine dispensers at his house, right? And you would think, based on what we were speaking about, that I would be decrying this as just, an ostentatious display of excess and how disgusting. No. And I was checking myself because it does seem a bit much that you need marble pillars. But I checked myself as I had that thought. And the whole point of me saying, hey, I need to confess, the confession wasn't about the money, about making the money. That part I
Right.
wanted. It was in the context of I made that much money, and here's a little chunk of how much I wasted it and the dumb shit I wasted it on.
Right.
That's what the segue was supposed to be. And you rightly said, you know what? Let's just stop and think about that for a minute. Because you were trying to make a bigger point than the pettiness I was trying to eject in there. And I'm not mad, but it distracted me from actually connecting to it. And then I never circled back. So I went back and listened to it. It's like, I got a confession to make. I made like 15 grand last weekend. What? So there was that was supposed to go somewhere. That wasn't just me being douchey.
Well,
So
listen, I think it went perfectly for one because I didn't pick up on any of that. I was just feeling empowered by being in proximity to somebody who was that successful in something that I'm just getting started in. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to watch YouTube videos and hear people say blah blah blah, but it's like when you that close to somebody who's pulling this kind of shit off, and they can, you're getting the real story of how simple or how difficult it is. They're not just trying to sell you a fucking package online. So knowing that somebody can create that with these apps in hand, I think that's beautiful, bro. That was an empowering story. That shit was excellent.
and it was absolutely not a humble brag because I can say and it can be verified, and I'm not trying to call out anybody because I may be an anathema to all manner of people, and I don't want to bring anybody else down by their association with me. But if you've performed at Janice Landings, if you put out a record in in the Bay Area, chances are at some point you were letting me sleep on your couch at some point. Okay. I've slept on so many couches and been a fucking bum. I went through at least a 6 to 7 year period where I was a complete broke, useless piece of shit. So in no way do I feel any kind of arrogance or greatness because I'm being a responsible adult as I should have been decades ago. So make no mistake. But
Mm,
the point of the story that I was making in my wasteful spending, because this has to be confessed, because this is so gay, it almost, I know it won't, but I feel like it should almost kind of guarantee that I should never get pussy again in my life. Like it's that,
is it
it,
that bad though? Come on.
yes,
That's kind of
it's,
harsh.
nah, man. It's one of the, in fact, there's only one reason I could think of why I would still be able to, but just on the face of it, if you read it on paper, you're just like, nah, yeah, that guy should never get pussy again. He should be kept. There should be a boycott against his dick. No one should participate under any circumstances. So I ran the numbers over like 3 months, and my total gains over 3 months, I think it was like 32 or 33. So it's pretty good. And I had to waste some money, but this is how I penalize myself. I never take the cash out. The cash must always be there making more cash. It's
Right.
never mine to withdraw until we reach our goal and we buy our freedom and we get the fuck out of here and we can grow our own food in peace, detached from the rest of violent tribalist society. So it's not my cash to touch at the
Church.
moment. Okay. So the way that I treat myself, because you get exhausted concentrating on doing it and making money and working hard and
Yeah,
overtime,
of
whatever,
course.
if you never get to enjoy any of it. And I didn't get marble pillars or temperature controlled wine dispensaries because I'm not that fucking sophisticated or classy. I bought fucking toys. They're essentially no, they're not that gay. They're not toys because they don't move. They have the movable action figures. But this is
Okay.
the corniest kind of art, and it's just white trash shit. Like it's like art in a trailer park. Like the way that my car looks, like this is the equivalent of buying art for a home. So Assassin's Creed has collector editions of all of the games. Are you familiar with these?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
Oh yeah, you worked at the stop.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So you know
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a huge overpriced shit. Hey, do you want this cheap statue? It's $250 for the ultra mega collector's edition. And it
Right.
comes with a little amulet that you can wear around your neck, which I would never wear around the neck. Now the thing that means I still will be able to get pussy, but it's only because I'm taking them all out of the boxes. I'm not keeping them in the boxes.
Now,
I got
listen. I'm gonna have to say, in today's sexual marketplace, there are there's actually a whole new sector that you've just opened yourself up to. You
true.
may have closed yourself off for life from another sector, but there's a whole nother one that just is opening you, welcoming you with open arms right now. 100%.
Right, but they're not my age. You gotta go into the next. You gotta get out of Generation X.
Yeah.
You might
Yeah.
get the tail end of the millennials, but you
Yeah.
gotta get in the 20s,
That's
low
true.
20s. And
That's
they'll be
true.
like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." So you
Yeah.
have all the Assassin's Creed statues on your bookshelf holding up your books? That is great. My
What are
box is
books?
moist.
What are books?
That's
What
true.
are
That's
even
how.
books?
But I, I
Oh,
I I don't know why, dude. I just wanted. I'm like, you know what? That's fucking cool. I want to waste money. My girl just harassed me for a MacBook. I bought her a MacBook, a refurbished MacBook.
right.
I didn't
Okay.
deviate from my principles, but
All right.
she wanted one, and I couldn't talk her out of it. So I'm like, okay, you're getting a refurbished one. Still not cheap. Still not cheap. Still not cheap. But she got that. She got like $200 worth of drawers. Like I got her what she wanted, but I didn't tell her how much money I spent on myself because she would be livid. But dude, I dropped like 3 grand on useless shit. Useless shit. So now for the 6 months, now I got it 0% interest. So I got a car payment for the next 6 months and there will be no harm. But see, I gave myself a penalty. I wanted something. So you know what? Now there's $400 a month that you could have just had in your pocket to do whatever you wanted with. Now you got to commit to pay this so you don't accrue any interest on it because you wanted to get what you wanted. Now I didn't touch the capital making money, but I gave myself a little penalty with a 0% financing with a PayPal credit card. Okay. Now,
it seems like sound decisions is so far.
Somewhat, but okay, but it wasn't just the collector's edition. So now I literally have every Assassin's Creed character from every game. Because once I saw that there was one or two, I'm like, oh shit, they got one from every fucking game.
Yeah.
What's it gonna look like if I got 1, 2, and 3, 5, but no 4?
Right.
People are gonna look at my mantle and be like, that's fucking stupid. You know you're missing one. That's what people are gonna think. So I couldn't be content just to get 1 or 2 stupid little figurines. They actually look really nice. I'm really happy with them. But I had to get all of them. And these are all on marked up prices. I'm talking like one of them, the rare ones, it was $250. $250 fucking dollars. Pinky is a piece of shit.
But listen, when your money's making money,
I
you
understand.
can do that kind of shit.
You can
do that kind of shit and it makes sense. Like if you're buying a $250 Assassin's Creed toy and
not a toy figurine, it doesn't move.
A figurine.
You can't pose it differently. It is what it is. It's a statue.
If you're buying that figurine, but you're also eating ramen noodles by candlelight type shit, you might have your priorities kind of fucked up. But if your money's making money, you can buy goofy shit and not have to explain. Not that that's goofy, by the way. I'm just saying.
No.
You can buy goofy shit.
Let's call it what it is. But it's not having money for so long. There is like a little bit of like guilt. Like I feel like I shouldn't be spending any of it, right? And it's something that I know I just spent it on dumb shit. And here's more dumb shit. Okay, here's more just fucking dumb shit. I never got the 3DS when it came out. But when I got, you know what I'm gonna get? When I got them, I'm gonna get it. But you know what? I'm not just gonna get it. I got to get all the games for it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and you know how much some of these games are?
Bro, don't even get started.
I spent $200 for Dragon Warrior 6 because you can't get it anywhere else. You can't just buy it new for $60. So when these things, all of these stupid, there's words I want to use, but I don't want to use because I don't want to be more offensive. The back catalog, I'm trying to clean up. But you know the word I want to use for an effeminate, whimsical man.
Okay? Whimsical guy.
So that
who knows the plethora of show tunes, possibly.
It's very expressive. So, and I wouldn't even mean that as an insult to people that like the same sex, but it's specifically for a heterosexual man who's doing things that would have ensured he would have been eaten in prehistoric times. You are not someone who would have been allowed to thrive. You wouldn't have made it.
Also, wrongfully eaten, though. That's the thing. we gotta make sure we keep floating that out there. It's not that it should have been that way. We'd probably be a lot further ahead in our, in the real revolution, not the technological one, the spiritual revolution. We'd probably be a lot further ahead if we hadn't been eating people like that and figuring out, some way to make it work, dude. Listen, I think it's not even spending, bro. You gotta look at it like circulating. That's what it is. You obviously you're sending it out into the universe, and that shit's finding its way back to you. It's finding its way back to you multiplied. Keep sending that shit out.
Listen, and if it's in the middle of a pandemic and I'm doing well, right, and somebody's got to put their Dragon Warrior 6 sealed Nintendo DS game on eBay for $200, I help them pay rent. Okay, but again,
or buy an Assassin's Creed.
And they just turned around, and then they're a piece of shit too. Like, I sold my game, but I couldn't say no to that statue. I had to do it, so I gave it right back to eBay. And so, I got all these DS games that I wanted, and I kind of don't regret it because I still haven't beat Ocarina of Time. I had it on the Wii, and I never got through it, but I restarted the whole fucking thing because it just looks so much cooler in 3D. I just like it. I like seeing a little hologram there because I'm 8 fucking years old, and I'm intrigued and entertained by simple shit like that. Dude, it's bright lights and it flickers and it's a hologram. It's so cool. And that's not even the worst of it. The absolute worst part of it. The worst. This is the most pathetic purchase. Confessions. Okay? I found these little tiny figurines, okay, of all the Assassin's Creed's characters. Like not just the main heroes and heroines, that's who you get with these giant collected edition ones, right? But I found these like they almost look like chess pieces. There's these little tiny ones of like all the main and ancillary characters. Now I had a favorite chess set a couple of years ago, and I don't want to get into specifics about it, but me and my girl had a small dispute, and it resulted in the destruction of many of my things. One
Mm.
of them was my favorite chess set, and I've looked all over trying to replace it. I got another samurai chess set that I got to replace it, and it's okay, but it's not like this one. This one was like a one of a kind. Like the bishops were like little dudes in robes holding like these orbs of ice and fire, like they were Chinese magicians. And
Dope.
then the knights were like these samurais on horseback, and then the rooks were like pagodas. Like it was just super dope. And then all of the little pawns were like little ninjas in the front. So it was by far my favorite chess set. It was decimated. It was beyond repair. Some of them tried to get glued together. Some of them were just basically dust. There's nothing that could be done. So I've been wanting to replace that with something. So I found these little things. They're called like Hatchet Part Works or something like that. It's some company. It's only in the United Kingdom. I emailed them. I'm like, yo, can I order these joints in the States? No, you can't. Go away. There's nothing we can do for you. We only sell to people in the UK, or they sell them to Australia too. Nothing in the West. And it's like 15 pounds for each one, right? And there's like 80 of them. Okay. So I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like 15 pounds. That's like $22. Plus the shipping is going to be at least $20 because it's coming from Britain. So I'm looking at almost like $50 a piece. If I want to get a whole set, I need 32 pieces. So 32 pieces by 50, I did the math. I'm like, this is just exuberant. Like there's no way. So I gave up on it. Then I get an alert on my phone that there's a new item available on eBay that matches something I searched in my history.
Oh wow.
So some dude that's hard up for it, he's obviously going through, he even writes in the write-up, right? It's like, I hate to part with it, but I got to do it right now. He's selling the entire collection, all 80 of them, for like 450 pounds, which I think is like $600 or something. Plus there's going to be shipping on top of that.
Mm.
So I make him an offer of like 380 pounds. And I thinking that's way under than what he's asking. I'm not gonna get it. It's like way undervalued. Yo, he accepted the offer with the shipping. I'm getting a package from the United Kingdom with 80 little chest-sized figurines. I'm gonna make a custom chess set out of with these characters. And so again, I submit to you that under no circumstances should I be getting any pussy. I don't deserve access. That
Okay.
that level of 40-year-old virgin behavior on those kinds of purchases, I'm a little ashamed that I'm not, because I'm still excited to get it. And I know my girl is still gonna give me pussy and she's gonna clown me a little bit for getting it. But just if I'm looking at it as an objective observer, if I'm stepping outside of my body and looking at me from somewhere else, I'm filled with disgust at that caliber of bitch acidness.
Hmm. Well, as much as I respect your perspective on this, I still have to honestly say, I just think with everything that we know, that's the exact opposite. It's going to have the opposite effect of what you think it would have, because it's not about the thing. It's not about the thing that you focused on. Oh, he went through all of this to get this little. That's not what it is. I think anybody who's evolved in their thinking would see a person who is just diligently going to make this shit happen one way or the other. I want it, so I'm going to get it. Period. I want it, so I'm going to get it. I'm gonna figure out a way to get it, whatever it costs, whatever. Send it to me. Put it on my fucking tab. Let's go. That's a spirit that most people want to embody. They want to have the the courage to be able to act like that and enjoy the shit that they really want to enjoy. But most people are in scarcity mindset. So we've taught ourselves to be disgusted at it. We taught ourselves to be like, oh, you shouldn't want this, or you shouldn't go through this much to get something that's gonna, if that's just gonna bring you a moment's gratitude in this world, it's worth it. Because everything that's aimed at us is aimed at us to keep us in a dark place and hiding all of this shit. Anything that's gonna bring you gratitude, yo, that shit's worth it. What the fuck is money? It's coming. It's gonna keep coming, right? So let's get the shit that you want to get. Feel the way you want to feel about it. You know, that's what's important. Fuck the rest of that shit. And I think people who are, like I said, people who are evolving and thinking the right way, that's exactly what they're gonna see. They're not. Some people are definitely gonna be like, that's some weird shit. Why would you buy that? And other people are going to completely understand because they already found out what their thing is. And that feeling is the same for everybody. Once you figure out what that thing is, if it's something that you just dig, you just do what you got to do to get it. I don't know what my thing would be, honestly. I mean, because most of the stuff that I really want is like media. I'm just movies and shit that I remember I want to go back to, especially kung fu flicks. I would buy the whole fucking Shaw Brothers catalog
It's
in
like
one shot.
400 movies.
You know,
Yeah.
I'd buy it just to own it. If I could own that physically, maybe just on a dope thumb drive or something, that'd be dope. I don't. I wouldn't need like all the DVDs because I don't even want to touch a DVD anymore these days. If I can't stream it, I don't really want to watch it. But it would
Are the
be
Shaw
dope.
Brothers flicks even available to buy for
Yeah.
download?
Well, yeah, a whole bunch of them are on Amazon Prime. I
Mm.
watch them all the time, yo. I watch them with the kids, bro. I just reliving that shit. Those movies are so dope, bro. I grew up on them joints, so that's all I used to watch as a kid was that and a little bit of anime, but mostly kung fu flicks. That's all I was into. So owning the Shaw Brothers catalog would be dope. I'd probably watch the same movies 40 or 50 more times over the course of my life, just because, like you said, it's something that just clicks for you, something that has a place. Like I'd spend on that. That's what it would be owning the Shaw Brothers catalog.
Well, see, you think you want it on a thumb drive till you find out that they have all 435 films that come in a collector's case
Oh yeah.
that's shaped like the gate to the school, and it has the name of the kung fu school on the
Yeah.
top of the shelf.
Yeah. You're
And
right.
you're like, that does kind of look
You're right.
good.
I hadn't even considered that. I'm just like,
Listen.
I just want to see the movies. And then you find out, oh no, we got more. Yep. Yeah. I can see it already. This is a deep hole.
Listen, because when I was on that hurt, I dubbed everything to my hard drive. I had like all the Family Guys, all the Simpsons, like up to the first 10 seasons, because it all that they had released at that point. So I had to go at one point and just sell everything. So I'm like, well, I'll keep it to the hard drive. And they gave me like pennies, like pennies. Like I gave them like thousands of dollars worth of media, and I walked out of there with like $60. And I had to give them my thumbprint
Damn.
just to be like, so they could follow up in case any of the goods were hot. And so technically I got them to watch, but look, man, you know, I had a little bit of money and I looked online and you get the first 20 seasons for $500 and they come in little collector cases that are shaped like the characters' faces. So yeah,
Gotta have it.
I could just
Gotta have
watch
it.
it from the hard drive, but I want to see Sideshow Bob's face
Right.
on season 17
Right.
when I
Yeah.
look at it. I want to see the big bulbous eyeballs sitting there on the shelf. And so, I struggle with if we are upset about the decadence and the corruption and the abuse, why won't people do without sneakers and why won't people do without, everybody's got to check their shit, right? And if those DVDs or those little figurines, if they came at the expense of misery, then I fucked up and I'm a piece of shit. And I looked into it and I couldn't find anything that indicated for sure one way or another. Like some of them came from Taiwan. Taiwan's free. Okay. Taiwan is not China. So I'm like, all right, it's coming from Taiwan. That's cool. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know how you really know about everything. And
Right.
and I just want to check myself, and I don't want there to be ever to be anything that I want so much that I just don't give a fuck how I'm gonna get it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I check that, because it is when you get shit like that, it is an appetite, and you got to know what you have an appetite for. And at the end of the day, like, I recognize all that shit is meaningless, but I had stages in my life where I had stuff, I had to get rid of stuff. I had a point where I had absolutely nothing, like no money, no real possessions, right? And I had to build myself back up from the nothing. So a lot of the stuff that I lost, I'm like, you know what? I do want to go back and get a PlayStation 2 because I had to get rid of mine, and I still like playing it. So let me spend $60 and get one now that I can get one. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just
Listen.
felt guilty and shitty about it. That's all.
Well, I mean, I definitely understand that that's part of the process, probably, but I think it's more important to explore that shit when you have the opportunity. Figure out, what does it feel like. I think people want to experience that. You want to be able to just blow money on some shit that that just makes you feel good about having it. Fuck it, right? You got to know what that feels like. You got to get it out of your system. There's no way. It's like when billionaires tell people that money's not going to make you happy. It's like, yeah, buddy, I'll see for myself.
Right.
Nobody, you know what I'm saying? People need to feel that shit. Maybe you need to buy 3 Lamborghinis before you realize they don't mean that much. But
Right.
it's going to be really hard to get to that place before ever having purchased a Lamborghini. To make that decision on the front end, I don't think it's not the same.
And that's true. And if um you're worth a couple, you know, couple $100 million, and you don't have any original paintings, and people come into your home and there's just little Assassin's Creed figurines, really, really you're kind of slumming it. So just from the stage where I'm at right now, it looks like a lot. But from where I plan on getting, I'm still gonna like that shit. It's gonna look really humble and cheesy by comparison. It'll be the equivalent of what my car is right now in that realm. So maybe I won't feel bad about it, but I'm not buying anything for at least the next 18 months. Like two Christmases have come and gone, and that's it for me.
Right.
That's it for me.
Just back to grind mode.
No decadent spending. If ever I look if ever I get the impulse to go and buy anything, I'm gonna look at my little Assassin's Creed custom chessboard and get filled with self-loathing, and then let the impulse dissipate.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I feel like you did exactly what you were supposed to do. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. However you process that afterwards is, you get the best lesson you can possibly get from it. But yeah, when you mentioned that Shaw Brothers movie case,
You saw it in your head, didn't you?
I saw it. It's like you stare into the abyss and the abyss stares back. That's that moment. That's like
Yo.
a Viva Las Vegas. So I don't know if you've seen Snatch. Did you
Uh,
see? Oh, dude, this got suggested to us recently too, from somebody who listens to the podcast. That movies, because we talk a little bit about movies. They're interested in hearing some movie reviews, but it's this flick called Snatch by Guy Ritchie. There's a dude in there, Benicio. Is it Benicio
Del
del Toro?
Toro? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So he plays a character called like Frankie Four Fingers. And Frankie got 4 fingers because he liked to gamble. And when you don't pay up, you know what I'm saying, you lose a finger. But this guy, they show him in the movie, and somebody mentions gambling, and they just play like a little 3 second clip of the song "Viva Las Vegas," and it's got clips of him in Las Vegas blowing money, like spilling drink, like, and he just has that flashback, like, oh, here we go, it's about to get started. So yeah, I definitely had that feeling right there. You see where that shit can suck you right in, even when you don't think it exists, nothing that you care about that much, because I'm just thinking movies, just watch the movies. But it's like, oh no, there's so many products and things that they build
Right.
around these franchises and stuff. It's not just the movies. And if you really love it, you start to see that shit and you're like, oh, that would be dope. Like, because I for sure would buy. Now that I'm thinking about the movies, I for sure would buy some Five Deadly Venoms memorabilia shit. Like, I probably wouldn't buy it from like a dude on eBay who just has some replicas or some shit like that. But
Right.
if it was like from Shaw Brothers, they made it, I probably would spend some. some serious money on owning some shit like that, just because it has a place for me psychologically, emotionally. Like there's something in there, so I can see it, dude. Yeah, I'd probably blow a bunch of money on it, unapologetically too.
I feel a little better.
Unapologetically, yo. And I'm gonna put it on my wall. And if you don't know what it means, that's your problem.
Right. But
I'm
if you
not.
know, if you
You
know
know,
why the 5 disc DVD set comes with all these little different insignias and
right,
why the one on the wall itself looks like a lizard, I can't tell you why.
right, yeah,
You
yeah.
you
We don't
just
talk.
have to know. You have
Yeah,
to know why they designed the collector's edition that way.
yeah. It's dope shit, bro. I definitely see it. It's beautiful. It's good to experience that kind of shit, man. It's good to experience that kind of shit. That's awesome that you could process, especially in the way that you did, without going into really into your own pocket. It's not like you was, breaking down your paycheck and taking away from one bill to get these fucking things.
Oh
It's a
no.
different situation. It's money making money. Like that's a whole nother conversation. When the money make the money, you can afford to fucking throw some at the wall every now and then.
Now, do you know these what did I think I stuck to the no cursing thing for like 2 episodes. That was the most short-lived attempt. I'm gonna get back into it, but this one I gotta let a couple of them drop. These motherfucking pieces of shit realized that the common man was taking all of their money. I'm talking about these dudes extracted like $10 billion out of like one firm, that these motherfuckers are looking for bailouts now. Like the
Of course.
regular dudes got them that good. It
Mm.
is the most righteous extraction of wealth from Wall Street, the most righteous market manipulation in the history of the market. I never knew some shit like this even existed, and they're halting trading now. Like I couldn't get into my Ally account all day, all day. Ally
Wow.
was like, nope, nope, nope. I know you're
We
here to
see
buy
what y'all are doing.
GameStop, aren't you? Go
We see what
away.
y'all are
Beat
doing.
it. Yep, yep.
Oh man.
They will.
Okay, so how about a quick summary for anybody who's not up on, I mean, it's been a huge thing. I've been seeing a lot of chatter about it, people making fun of everybody, the whole shit. So a quick summary of what's happening with GameStop and these stock shorts and all this hilarious shit that just happened.
Okay. So if you don't know, people on Wall Street, hedge fund managers, and other people that trade, they make money based on failure, right? It's not adding any value to. They just know, hey, this company's not doing well. Let me make money on it as it collapses into nothing. So it's kind of like let me extract the last little bit of available value from this thing before it just crashes and burn and people lose their jobs. And so there's something called short selling. Now, short selling is when you don't even buy a stock, right? You get the stock on credit. It's if you're a
Oh,
drug
beautiful.
dealer, I think it's called consignment, okay?
Consignment. Yes.
So you get the stock from somebody for free and you're like, "Hey there. This stock's $100. I'll sell it to you right now for $100." Wow, gee, really? Thanks, mister. And he sells it the $100 knowing that the stock is going to drop down to $50. So he just got paid $100 for the stock. Then he goes back to the guy that he borrowed the stock from. He's like, here's the 50 I owe you. And he pockets the rest.
Beautiful.
So if you're making a bet that the stock is going to go down and that you're going to be able to make money on it. And when my girl criticizes it as gambling, shit like that, I could be like, yeah, that's not really investing, that's gambling. Shit, when you're playing around with derivatives and credit default swaps and all these creative ways that people make money in the market, right? It's yeah, a lot of that shit is gambling. But so these dudes were short selling, and these dudes on Wall Street Bets, right? That's the name of the group, I think. Um, they kind of got together and they're like, you know what? Fuck these dudes. These motherfuckers have gotten so rich, they've destroyed the economy more than once. You know, they extract wealth from people. The three richest dudes, I think, increased their net worth collectively by over $1 trillion, while everything else has fallen into shit. So these dudes struck back. They're basically like, yo, you extract wealth, Y'all rig the system in your favor all the time. Time for us to get a little bit back. We're going to get a little bit back. So while Wall Street was shorting stocks, GameStop specifically, yeah, GameStop is falling apart. Let's go ahead and short it at $6. It's going to fall below that, and we're going to make some money. These dudes were like, man, I love me some GameStop. I can't get enough of GameStop. I'm going to buy $700,000 worth of GameStop. So they kept buying the stock, and the more people that are buying the stock, it's going to raise the price. So what do these Wall Street motherfuckers do? They're like, shit, I borrowed this stock to pay back at $15. I planned on buying it back at $6. They just boosted it to $50. I'm like $44 in the hole right now.
You're fucked.
Right. So the only way they can get out of it, because you have infinite loss potential, because the sky's the limit. There's no cap on how far the stock could go up theoretically, which means there's no cap on how much money you can lose. So what they have to do is they have to close their position. So they're like, fuck, I just lost $5 million on this bet. So let me go ahead and buy the stock back for 50 so that I can close my position and be out of this, right? So it didn't get below 6. It got up to 50. I lost $44 on every single share that I bought, right? They lost huge amounts of these funds' money. So now they're like, well, it can't go up any further. And I'm, 10 million in the hole. I'm in fucking trouble. So let me go ahead and buy it again because it's definitely going to fall again.
God, it's so good.
So when they buy it again, mind you, they just had to buy millions of dollars worth of stocks to close their position to stop the bleeding on their end. But the irony is when they stop the bleeding by closing their position and selling their short, right? They just made the stock go up because they just bought 10 million shares worth at $50 a share. So these motherfuckers on the website are like, cool, let's buy some more. And it got over $100. And these motherfuckers are like, well, shit, I was betting on it dropping below 30. Now I owe $70 for every single one of these shares. And I just lost my company another 15 million. So now I'm 25 million in the hole, right? And I know it's going to, so it's this vicious feedback loop where they're trying to short the stock to make their money. These motherfuckers, these regular dudes are colluding and just keep buying more and buying more and buying more. And so it's called a short squeeze. So they're artificially inflating the value of the stock. And I made a joke yesterday on one of these group chats that I talk stocks on. And I'm like, it's really going to be hilarious when that shit hits $200 tomorrow. And that was like on Monday, right? Sure enough, because we thought 150, 160, that's ludicrous. This stock is worth like 30, 40 bucks. It got past 200. So today, when I text them back, I'm like, yo, what's that GameStop stock looking like right now? And I sent them that GIF of Chef's dad with the Loch Ness monster, like, it's looking like 350.
About 350.
That shit got up to $350, and they are talking about trying to get it up to $5,000. Now, the fucked up part is somebody's gonna get left holding that bag. Somebody's gonna lose a fortune. But in the meantime, there's like 3 different firms, according to CNBC, who are needing bailouts right now. These motherfuckers on a message board brought giant investment firms to their fucking knees. And they're even putting out press releases like, oh yeah, Melvin, they're not buying anymore. They've closed all their positions. And these dudes on the chat boards are like, yeah, sure you did. Let's buy some more.
This shit is so beautiful. It's so good because nothing's happening in the real world for GameStop as a company other than
Not
the shit.
a motherfucking thing.
But it's beautiful. It's such a good depiction or illustration of what this system is. It's a joke,
Yeah.
It's a game to be played. They just knew how to play, and they weren't counting on other people to figure out the game.
Exactly.
We have the game in the palm of our hands now, and you can't stop us from playing. The only thing you can do is radically change the rules in front of
And
everybody right
that's what they're trying to do.
now. Right, right. And
That's
that's
what they're trying
ugly.
to do.
That's very ugly. It's going to shake everything up, but all it's going to do, at the very least, it'll re-level the playing field. So they're going to fuck themselves over a little bit to take the loss, because they think they're going to be able to rebuild it and put themselves back in position. But you can't. If it took people this long, think about how evolution goes, right? It took people this long to get to this point. They figure out how they can manipulate this system. What do you think you can build now that they're not going to crack immediately?
Yeah.
They're gonna break into it immediately. As long as this game is available, they should know understand how to manipulate it now. This is a perfect illustration. It's beautiful. I love it. This is some of the best shit that's ever happened. And I'm watching people on Facebook and shit like that laughing at people like, oh, all y'all think y'all stock pros now because of this game. I'm like, okay, you think it's a game? This shit can be done with almost any company. Did you see what was it recently that Tesla said use Signal? Did you see that? It's
Yeah. He mentioned Etsy and it popped.
right, just a mention.
Right.
Just a mention. And he said use Signal, which is like some kind of encrypted messenger kind of thing. People went and bought stock for the wrong company. They
Oh
all
yeah.
and that stock. Now imagine being able to see something like that transpire. You can buy that stock, watch it soar, sell it, and then hop out before anybody knows what happened. And it happens all the time in the market constantly. This is all that's going on all day. Follow their money, see what they're doing, and throw a fucking monkey wrench in it, and extract the wealth from the monkey wrenching.
Mhm. Now, to be devil's advocate and to take the system's position, I get what they're saying. Because the truth of the matter is, right, that tens of billions of dollars in the hands of an investment firm is going to do more to make the market move than if you just give it to 100,000 or a million individuals
Right.
who might blow it on stupid shit, right? It may not see its way back into the market. So I get what they're saying is like, yeah, that money belongs in our hands. We're going to do more to, because they're right. If you extract all of that wealth out of the market, right, the market crashes for everybody.
No, well,
Right.
okay, hold on. I
Now,
don't
well,
think
hold on.
so.
I'm gonna let me clarify though, because what could happen theoretically is if all these people that took their winnings, they put the majority of that money back into the market, they could put it in places where there was value, and it is somewhat it does somewhat call out the unrighteousness of the system. It's kind of like we were talking today about private prisons. Like I think Biden, I don't know if he signed an executive order or what,
Right.
but he's
Yeah.
he's going to stop funding private prisons. Now you could know that they stole the election, you could know that he's a puppet, you could know all the negative things about him, but just on principle, you can respect the fact, or otherwise you're just an asshole. If you can't say he's getting rid of private prisons, that's a win. Yeah, because a private prison, it incentivizes people being incarcerated. So you're making an unwanted outcome profitable.
Right.
that
Right.
that that shows a sickness in the system. So the fact that all of these people can make so much money and extract so much wealth because a company is failing, something about that kind of seems wrong and broken, right? So
Yeah.
it's not really that bad to me that they found a way to get all this money back. I'm definitely applauding that, right? And I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done it. I'm happy that they did it. I see a righteous component in that they did it, but I do understand the status quo rationale that if you take that much money away from these big firms that have a lot to do with where the market's going, and you put it in people's hands who aren't going to necessarily have that same commitment, right? Then that could have negative effects. Just like if you give a whole bunch of capital to somebody that's an entrepreneur, that money's going to get into the system in the form of creating jobs. Whereas
Right.
if you just evenly distributed that money to a whole bunch of people, they're just going to spend it or buy, they're not going to necessarily create jobs. So you're getting less value out of that money. So I get that. But you had a retort. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying I don't think it'll collapse because they'll just inject more into it like they always do. That's how they figure out bailouts and shit. It always
Yeah,
comes from
but we pay
somewhere.
for that. And that's the
And
problem is that they privatize all their wins and they socialize all their
right,
losses.
that's the
So when
problem.
when they want to bail out, we're and we already know the game. These rich fucks find any way under the sun that they can to not pay taxes. You and me as regular people, you can't fuck with the IRS.
Right.
There's no way you're not paying your taxes. They don't give a fuck. There's nothing you can do. So the fucked up thing is all of that burden of debt, right? Those dudes are gonna find loopholes to not pay it. But essentially, all the money we took for them, we're collectively in a socialized way, all fitting the bill for it anyway. So it's
Yeah.
it's not a total win until we stop that mechanic of them being essentially all too big to fail and too important to the market that they can basically be as irresponsible as they want, and they have a system that protects their fuckery, right, and makes excuses for their fuckery. But when common people essentially play the same game and they win, you know what I'm saying? It's like you figured out how the casino, the house always wins, but you figured out what the formula is that makes the house always win. So now you flipped it. It's the same game, but now the consumer is always winning. And the casino's like, yeah, we got to shut this shit down. We need to have something. But you didn't have no problem when you were on the winning end the whole time. So either it turnabout is fair play, and either it's a fair system, and you ended up getting fucked over like so many people's pensions and retirements, all those regular people that got fucked over when shit went bad. You just so happened to be that dude when shit got fucked up this time, and you didn't like it. But if the system was fair, right, completely fair, no fuckery, then nothing wrong happened. Nothing. You can't tell me that a bunch of companies and firms that are controlling billions and trillions of dollars, those dudes making decisions that move the market one way or another, that shit's not collusion or market manipulation. But these dudes on a message board are. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop it.
I don't get it, other than the fact that it's rigged the way it's rigged for a reason, and the fact that, like you said, they privatize their wins. I like to see everything getting extracted from it because I think people, you never know what's going to happen with it. We don't know that it's not going to create a better situation. It's all going back to the market anyway. It might be a slower trickle. They might not
Yeah,
be
you're
able to
right.
manipulate it as much as they do, and as much in favor of themselves as they have historically. Shit might change, but it all goes back. It all goes back. It's just a little bit slower because maybe people don't, you know, I mean, what really are they doing? Honestly, they're moving money from one place to another, and that's not necessarily in and of itself the benefit. They're just keeping the market as a, quote unquote market, fluctuating and up and down. But you know how people get screwed in that shit. People get fucked over all the time, and it just is what it is.
And like I
So
said, I'm not mad because I got a couple of nice dips today that I could buy in at a better deal. And I know what it was is everybody was selling off their shit to get capital to run and go buy fucking AMC and GameStop.
right, of
I'm
course,
like, this is where all the money's going.
right. But yeah, it'll work itself out. They know how to make that shit work in their favor. And I just like the access that we have to it now. And seeing this kind of shit happen in front of our eyes tells you what they've been doing the whole time.
Yep.
They've been doing this shit the
Yep.
whole time. So, yeah. And it's been a game the whole time. So, to let them keep playing it and not let other people get in and extract from it, I think they should extract as much as they possibly can, manipulate, explode this shit as much as we possibly can. Go on Reddit, figure out what the next stock they're gonna. They should play this game until the fucking bottom falls out. Literally, just put the fucking wealth in the hands of people. Let them make their own decisions.
I don't feel bad about it. And my dick has never been harder than when I saw that screenshot of a dude with 22 million in his account off of just fucking GameStop. I'm like, this dude bought 800 calls for like 30 cents a piece. This dude
Wow.
bought 50,000 shares of GameStop for like 14 bucks. Has $22 million. Off of
But see,
that.
and not everybody knows how to play the option game either. That's a whole, that's a whole nother set of things to start understanding and get that. That's a little bit more of a gamble than regular, trading and investing and shit. So
It is, but I would recommend that if you were going to do one of these short squeezes and you were going to, extract money for the people, it's safer to do it with options than to just buy the stock.
right,
And the reason why is because the option is only the derivatives. It's only the profit. You don't actually own the stock. So your downside is already finite, right?
right,
So if you buy $2,000 worth of calls and it don't hit, and the shit plummets because the squeeze is over, you lost 2 grand.
right.
But for
But your
those number of
upside is infinite.
right, but now if you go and buy those same those same amount of stocks that you'd have access to with that 2 grand, you're gonna pay like 20 or 200 grand for it. It's gonna be way more. You're gonna own the stock, and your downside could be you could get down to zero. Because when that stock starts losing its value, which it inevitably will, GameStop's going to come back down to at least $20. I mean, that's inevitable. It's not a
And it's going to be
$300
hard
stock.
to sell once it starts falling because it's going to fall fast.
Right. And
It's
that's
going to
where you're
fall
fucked.
fast.
Because you're like, well, it's okay because I got in at 200. It's at 330. So if it starts falling, I'll just sell
Oh,
before it gets
no.
below 200. Who are you going to sell it to? Who's going to want to
Right,
buy a $20 stock for $200, you asshole? So
right.
you're gonna be fucked. You're gonna be left holding the bag, and that's what I'm saying. I don't. That's why I'm not fucking around with shit like that. But if I was in a position where I could throw away 5 or 10 grand and not worry about it, I would try to put in 5 or 10 grand and make a million on some
Right.
fuckery like that and buy a whole bunch of options. I
Yeah.
wouldn't feel bad about it. But right now at this stage in my life, I work too hard and I concentrated and stressed too much to get to where I'm at today. I can't I can't be irresponsible with it like that, man. I
Yeah.
just can't. I can't do it. So, but anybody that can do it, yo, I'm not mad at you at all. But I know that shit is gambling. I know that shit is irresponsible, and I got a feeling that the SEC is gonna come looking for some of the people that organize that webpage, because
Probably.
there's selective enforcement. You just
Yeah.
know it. They're gonna
Of
find
course.
some shit to come down on those regular dudes, even though they didn't do shit that these fucking assholes aren't doing every single day in all of these institutions that are
Yeah.
basically
For
the priesthood of
generations.
money.
For
Right.
generations, they've been doing it. And
Right.
people are figuring it out because it's getting so close to the regular person now. They got time. They got time to look into this shit and see how to make shit move, yo. I love it. I absolutely love it. Because these are opportunities that you never know what's going to grow from these opportunities. Like you said, there's a few people probably at the top who's going to make a huge amount of money, and all the way down to people who are just going to make a little bit, and it could change their life.
Yep.
That's what I'm. That's what I'm for. I'm for people being able to change their life off a little play. You saw something materialize and you jumped in, jumped out at the right time. That's dope shit, man. I'm all for that.
Dude, if you aren't a materialistic obsessed person, $2 billion is your freedom ticket. And $2 million is way easier to make than you think.
Yeah.
$2 million, if you put a million in a high yield interest, just a savings account, right? You don't need to put it in a CD or nothing. Maybe if you put in a 12-month CD, you'll get more on it, right? But a high yield savings accounts right now are paying like 1%, right? At the end of the year, that's like 10 grand, right? You take the other million, even if you're investing it very, very moderately and you get a 4% return, that's 40 grand. That's 50 grand a year. Most people could live off 50 grand a year. That's the median income. That's the median salary. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if you're not like I gotta have this and I gotta have that, $2 million means you can do whatever the fuck you want for the rest of your life,
Right.
and you can
If you're
find
smart. If you're smart.
right. And that's not to say you're living off the 4%, but that don't mean, listen, I think, and I'm not even doing great. I know there's people that are doing way better, but I checked my numbers. I got a 50% return on my money last year. You know what I'm saying? 50%. If I got $1 million, I'm gonna have 500,000 by the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? So it's just taking into consideration that you're getting the bare minimum. You know what I mean? I got a 4% return. I could live off this 40 grand. but maybe you get a 20% return, right? And you live off 100,000 and you reinvest the other 100,000. I mean, it's you're chilling. You're
Right.
chilling. You
Right.
got opportunity to make way more money. You got a bottom line safety net to get your needs met so that you're not going to be destitute. And you don't got to work for none of these fucking companies that want you to get people in debt and sell them shitty ass college degrees for 80 grand when it costs 5 grand at community college. You don't got to pimp, you don't got to exploit. Like, they have to change. They're going to be running out of people that are desperate to do whatever the fuck they line you up to do, even if it's ethically or morally questionable. But people
Right.
got to do it because your conscience can't override the need for your kid to fucking eat food. So there's a lot of people who got to silence their conscience every day because they just got to be okay with, hey, this is how I make my money,
Yeah.
and you can't judge everybody. I mean, there's a difference between, selling people houses that are already on sinkholes, right, versus somebody that's like holding a kid, at gunpoint in a factory, right? There's there's
Right.
there's
Right.
different levels to this, but at the end of the day, like, nobody should have to violate their conscience and make their money in a filthy way if they don't want to, and only by starving the demand for workers are they going to be forced to change the way that they do business. Maybe they got to make the margins smaller. Maybe they got to make the CEOs pay a little bit less, but they have to, because nobody's going to want to work for a company that does business that way when you got a whole bunch of people who have been pimping GameStop, BlackBerry, and AMC who got $2 million in the bank and never have to do fucking anything ever again that they don't want to do.
Right.
That's an empowered populace.
Right. Those are the people that I want to see existing in the world. Those are the people I want to encounter on a day-to-day basis. People who have no financial worries. They got everything straight. That's the people I want to engage with out in the world, y'all. And anything that'll help them get closer to that, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So if that means shaking down Wall Street, let's get to it. Fuck it, bro. It's not like they haven't been shaking everything down for 100 years. Get them, take them for everything they fucking got, bro. Who cares? And like I said, and it all trickle its way back in anyway. The super wealthy are gonna stay super wealthy, and this stuff just like you said. Where's the money coming from when you put that $1 million in the bank and they're gonna pay you the interest just for having the money there? Where's that money coming from?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like this shit's scarce.
Now,
They
theoretically, it comes from the money they made by lending out the money you gave them. But
right,
just one rabbit hole into the
right,
fractured banking and the Federal
yeah.
Reserve is like, nah, but that's not really how it gets in there.
It's a shell game. It's a shell
Yeah.
game. So now we just put more shells on the table.
More shells on the table, and we're finding a way to get the money under our shells more often than the
Yeah,
house gets the money under theirs.
let's get it. Let's
Listen,
get it.
it made my day. It's made. If you noticed, I'm elated. This might be the most energy I've ever had
I
in one
agree.
of these therapy sessions,
I
because
agree.
because this isn't two equal partners having a discussion. This is obviously somebody who's enlightened and ambitious and clear in their thinking, and their mental patient that they give counsel to every week. This is the dynamic. It's like, look, I figured out what I want to do. This cult is righteous. What I need a lunatic to heal in real time
And
that
play the
that
stock
people
market.
can see, right? And give me stock tips
Yeah,
so I can get this compound.
stock tips from a lunatic. That's a whole nother podcast, right? Yeah, you just launched your solo podcast right there. Stock tips from a lunatic. Be on the lookout for that. More cult of dangerous gentlemen coming down the pipeline. I love
but it's I'm filled with piss and vinegar and joy. I'm just elated. It's been the story that's made my day all week, and what I love about it is it just keeps getting better and better and better
it. Yeah, it's
every day. Because on Monday it was just GameStop, right? Friday I think is when it started popping off. Monday it was like changing the world, and it kept going off. And then by Tuesday they're like, I think they're looking at AMC and BlackBerry. And then this morning it's like, yeah, AMC, you know, the movie theater, you know, the places that nobody goes, that they're not even making movies for anymore. Yeah, that
Guess
shit
what?
is up 300% this morning.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it, dude. I love it because we said so.
right.
Because we said so. And like,
And
oh,
is
the
it,
market is a very particular. We have to make sure that okay, yeah, watch this. GameStop's
but
$347 right now. Make that make sense.
but isn't that the pitch of capitalism, that things are worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it?
True,
I
true.
mean, you
But that's
can't change
also
the
the
rules now.
antithesis. That's also, they don't want you to think that on the other end, though. They want you to think that what they're doing behind the scenes is very important, meticulous
Right,
data. No,
right,
you're
right.
playing games.
I've put on a, I've I've done a couple bumps of coke. I have a tie on.
Right.
I'm
Let's
sitting
keep
in
it
front of
real.
a screen.
Let's keep it
This is all very important business, very important things.
right. There's shit on my laptop right now that could get me arrested.
Right,
But
right.
you know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. We know what's going on. We just saw some people pull. Basically, we saw people package up what they've been doing for generations and feed it right back to them in front of everybody. And if you're smart, you can take advantage of it because it's going to keep happening. You know how the internet works. This is going to be an ongoing troll. Now we're just going to have to, until they try to unplug
Yeah.
it, but we just got to find where they're going to do it next and keep watching it because it's going to keep repeating itself until they pull the plug. The
Yeah,
internet won't stop.
well, they're already getting together to never let it happen again. Like I said, they halted trading on AMC once they saw that that's what they were going for. A lot of people couldn't access their accounts at all today. And that's why it's always good to have like a couple. Like have an ally account. Robinhood is a piece of shit, but if that's what you got to deal with it. Webull, TD Ameritrade, like have a couple, you know what I'm saying, with capital
Right.
that you can access. Because on some days, they ain't going to let you touch it. Like I'm looking at my ally account. I'm like, if I had to sell something right now, I'd have to call these motherfuckers and wait on the phone for like an hour to give them my order because they are not letting me get in my app. And I know why. You afraid I wasn't gonna buy AMC, but you thought I was gonna buy AMC,
They
and
knew
you
what you
trying
were
to
here
let it
for.
happen. Yeah,
They knew what you were coming in for. That is garbage though. That's garbage behavior because it's the market, right? It's the free market. Let the market decide. It's the open market. So how you gonna block people from getting into the open market? What happened?
again, it all sounds very lovely, very righteous. It makes perfect sense until they're on the receiving end of the fuckery.
Right.
Then it's like, listen, literally nothing has changed about the game. It's
Nothing.
just that you're in a different column of loser and winner at the
Right.
end of the game. That's what you hate about it.
Right.
You
The
don't hate
tables
the
are turning
game,
a little
you
bit.
hate the result right now.
And just a little tiny bit the tables turn. Not even a whole well, I
Yeah.
guess I guess let's keep it real because like you said, there's somebody right now who's probably contemplating jumping off a building.
Oh no, somebody's gonna lose their life savings thinking they were gonna be a millionaire. They put up like 50 grand. They're gonna let it all ride on GameStop. They're thinking it's gonna get to at least 500. So they haven't even put in the limit order to sell yet because they're confident it's gonna climb that high. And yeah, they're gonna end up getting stuck with 200,000 shares of GameStop, at fucking $5 a piece, or 50,000 shares or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I'm interested in is who the fuck didn't fire Swanson? Like who went into work and had no oversight and was like, yeah, Mr. Yes, Mr. Swanson, we lost 10 million on the GameStop short selling yesterday. I'm gonna double up today. Like who? Why
Good
didn't you
job.
just take the loss?
No,
Fuck it.
because it's an inside job. He's one of us. He's one of us. He just
You
flushed more
know
money
what?
into the system, bro.
You know what? If they found that out, somebody's going to prison.
Well,
But
listen, hey, maybe they
but
won't find out. But to
I would.
me, that's the most logical
It's got to
explanation.
be. You think?
That's the most logical, like you were just saying. Who would do that and then double down? Why?
But you had to have tripled down because this is the third day.
Okay,
So
exactly. So
today you woke up 50 million in the negative, and you were like,
keep going.
I'm gonna put up another 200 million in capital, just to see
Yo,
if we can get this money back.
maybe he's an insider.
He might be, dude. If not, he's fired. There's
He's
no way
yeah,
that dude still has a job.
even if he is fired, that's the guy that gets fired, and then he's gonna leave. He's gonna go meet his boys at the warehouse and high five and give him a beer. It's like I fucking did it, son. Yeah, that's how that goes.
Cause, dude, the first one, I'm short selling at 6, right? And this shit happens, and you lose the money, right? You did everything by the book. You couldn't have anticipated that happen. You know, you had a good buy. It met all the criteria for how you're supposed to calculate these sorts of things. You could explain that to your boss, like, dude, it was going to be below 6. I had no idea it was going to get to 50. But when you buy back in at 125
That's a lot harder
on
to
a
explain.
on a $40 stock, and you're betting that it's going to get back down, under 125, and it gets up over 200, and you got to close out again, and you make another purchase today, and it ends at about 350. Yeah, dude, you're either in on it, or you've just fucked yourself. Your
He's one of us.
career, yeah, you gotta be.
He's one
That's
of
the
us.
you're probably right. That's the only explanation that there would be that many bad decisions. And the fact that these investment firms were putting out press, like, to try to be like, yeah, we've closed everything. Like, they're just praying, like, please, you motherfuckers,
Just
just
stop,
stop. Just
please.
stop. Let us get Swanson is gonna hang himself in his
No,
office. Just let us get some of the money back,
no,
please.
no.
And from what I heard, I'm not on there checking it, but there's two things I heard. One is that these are, like, there's white hat hackers. These are like white hat agents of financial chaos. Like, a lot of them have an agenda and they're pissed about shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're
Yeah.
really doing it. I just don't want to come up, but I specifically want to fuck over the finance game. Like, a lot of them, from some of the posts I've seen, they're like righteously minded about it. And then supposedly there's a lot of people in there, like, trying to get people caught up, like trying to entrap them and shit. Like, that's a tactic. Like, supposedly now there's all these accounts that have been created where they're saying, like, yeah, maybe we should do this and maybe we should do that. Like, clearly just, like, you're standing around, all of a sudden there's a new guy coming up on your 7th grade bus stop, and he looks about 32. He's like, you guys know where I can score some reefer? Like, I don't think you smoke
Hello,
weed, so.
fellow teenagers. You know where one might score some reefer? That's hilarious. I love this shit, bro. And the fact is a whole nother undercurrent of poetry that exists here that I don't think we've touched on in this illustrious tale. GameStop is famous the world over for fucking people over when you go there to trade in your shit.
Yeah,
This
they're
is what they're
notoriously given
known for.
value.
This is what they're known for. The fact
Right.
that they're known for you coming in there to sell them some shit that they're going to give you store credit for, they're going to completely screw you. You're going to give them $600 worth of games and a whole gaming system, and they're going to give you $40 store credit. That's how that goes. It's just what it is, right? Now, I've done this before when I worked at GameStop, and I know it was a jerk move, but when you work at a place like that for an extended period of time, it's like Office Space or any of that, you just get sick of the shit.
They took your red stapler. You had no
Right.
choice.
Yeah, exactly. So eventually you start to find joy in these little terrible things. And one of the joyous, terrible things that I used to do was when people would come in to trade shit in, you give them this disrespectful ass price, right? And then as they're browsing around the store to look at, what they're going to spend their store credit on, I take the games that they just sold to me and I put the new price tag on them and go put it back on the shelf right in front of the guy. So yeah, I gave you 75 cents for this game and I'm going to put it on the shelf for $14.99 right in
Right.
front of you. And there's nothing you can do about it. And this is what they're known for.
Okay. I thought you meant you were fucking them over, but you took pride in the company's philosophy about fucking other people over.
Right. Yeah.
I got you.
I just thought it was funny that I could give you 75 cents for this game. You hand it to me and I'm going to give you 75 cents store credit. And then while you're still browsing around the store, I'm going to put the same box that you just handed me on the shelf for $14.99. Let me sell it
Right.
right back. And well, it's disrespectful. They don't give a shit about you, so why should we give a shit about their stock?
Well, to be fair, I mean, I know I've never been in charge of looking over their numbers, but there's a couple of things. One, they're a publicly traded company, so they gotta make money, right? So they have to make revenue. They got the overhead of paying for all the bills of the store and liability insurance and all the utilities, the employees. So I'm sure there's a lot of expenses before they become profitable. So I kind of get that that would be one of the ways that they get to boost their revenue a bit, because most of the games that they get, like new games and new systems, right, the margins on those are probably next to nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's why they all sell them for the, I mean, I don't know,
No,
but I
that's it. That's true. They don't make a
so
whole lot on the trading market was probably most of the revenue that they made. And then you got people, of course, who want brand new games the day of
right.
release and free sales and all that other shit, but mostly trade-ins. That's where they were getting all that shit from.
Yeah.
Most of the
Yes.
games were used in the whole store. Most like I'm pretty sure when I was working there, I'd say 60 to 70% of the games that was available on the floor were used games.
Yeah, most of them, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they'll give you deals like you buy two, you get one free.
Yeah, of
You
all
know what I
that. Yeah.
mean? Like they want to get rid of them at some point. So,
But
I
the
got I
point
got
is, they
some
don't
good
give a
buys in
shit.
there.
They don't
No,
give a shit about you. They're gonna sell you a magazine when you get in there. They're gonna give you a
yeah.
bullshit card. And like they're gonna get you at every turn. And they're gonna have those action figures, like you said, them little shitty little figurines, these crappy Chinese toys that they sell, and they're
Oh
gonna
God, I
mark
hope
them
they're
up
not made in China.
unbelievably.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not these, but they're gonna the cheapest thing that they can possibly find. They're gonna sell it to you for as much as they possibly can. So listen, sometime your stock gets flipped upside down, and we got to shake the coins out of their pockets a little bit.
Well,
I
you
think
you've made them incredible. I mean, the people that did this made them incredibly wealthy. Like their company is worth more now than it's ever been,
for no
even if it's
reason.
artificially inflated. Now there was some news is that one of the people appointed to like the board of the directors, and that was initially the catalyst play on GameStop, was he was somebody with an e-commerce background and e-commerce, and you see a lot of these rich business dudes like buying up, brick and mortar stores and converting them into e-commerce to get rid of the overhead and turn the company profitable. So that's the only way that GameStop is going to continue to be profitable into the future, especially with this pandemic shit. And you see their e-commerce like expanding. You can get a lot of shit from GameStop online now. And I think they do free delivery and everything. So everybody's had to convert to the Amazon model.
Yeah,
But it's just one of those industries, like if you love video games, you love the art of it, the culture of it, like you're a gamer, you either you are, you aren't. Like I know people that aren't into it, that just don't get the appeal, but if you dig it, you dig it. It's one of those industries where it is really hard to be profitable, not just from the if you're trying to sell video games, but even making video games, because
yeah,
you could spend 200 million on a budget and not recoup it,
right.
trying to make a game that people just decide that they didn't like. So I mean, if you want those kinds of things to continue to get made, there's got to be an outlet um to get it from, and GameStop is like, it's the only one left that's actually like a physical store specifically dedicated to gaming. Because what was there when we were kids? I know there was like an EB.
Yeah, there was EB. I remember that.
What was the other
Um,
one called? There was like a couple.
yeah, but yeah, not a whole lot. I mean, GameStop is definitely one of those staples, but it's like everything is streaming at this point right now. You can
Yeah,
download everything. So physical games and the most you need now is just a bigger hard drive or just more
right.
storage space. But most things that what's not available for download right now? What game is there that you have to go have a physical disc to put in your player? Like,
Right. Yeah.
how is that even a thing? It
Yeah.
seems like, yeah, well, the only thing they would need, you don't need to go pick up the consoles anymore. Everybody's shipping everything more efficiently now than they ever have. So you
Right.
order it, and why do I need to order the console from GameStop if I can just order it from Xbox.com
Right.
You know, there's like where do they fit in? How are they still alive?
No, it I feel sorry for them because it is, and that's why they had to start introducing all of these other things. Like GameStop wasn't. I want to remember the name of the other one. It was EB, and there was another one, and I think they merged at one point. It's gonna bother
Yeah,
me though.
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember it, but um,
yeah.
that's why they had to start selling, which they never did before. All of this other merchandise, like little stuffed animals and characters, because they needed to find some way to get the markup. And also these game companies that were, dealing with huge amounts of capital, a lot of it which I'm assuming for some of these companies was borrowed, right, which they were leveraging their futures with to try to get some of these games to market. That's why they started pre-selling, or doing pre-orders
Yeah.
for like these crazy $500 collector editions, and you get these figurines, and you get a flag, and you get all that other stuff, and it probably cost them like $50 total, or maybe $100, but it's such a huge markup for them, so that they can try to fund this on the front end, because they're going into so much debt, or they're spending so much money just getting the product to market. So I get it, man. Until you're at the helm and dealing with that much money and that much pressure to keep people employed and make sure a venture is successful, like, I kind of get why they had, you got to start thinking in like greedy or slick kind of terms, because if you're up late at night and you're like, fuck, I don't know if this is going to be successful or not. If it's not, I may have just destroyed the company. I may have just gotten like 150 people fired who got families, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
when
that
you're in that
sucks.
position, you're like, look, y'all are just gonna have to buy these fucking stuffed animals on pre-order. We're gonna call it the super duper ultra mega happy collector's edition for
Right.
the hardcore fans. There's only 1,000 made. You better be the lucky one that buys it day one.
Right. And
So
I think that's a better place to be, like honestly, is to just create if they created their own stuff or they have but then again, still you can just go directly to I mean, I'm sure the people who make Assassin's Creed, maybe they don't want to be bothered with that, right? So they let GameStop handle it. Maybe they just want to sell the game. They don't want to handle plushie orders and shit like that. I don't want to deal
they
with it.
they did, their figure wasn't as nice. The because I bought the Cassandra figure, the GameStop edition. It wasn't the Cassandra, the official released, because you can't find that anywhere. There was one being sold from Spain for $900,
Whew.
and no, fuck that shit. I Even with all of my ridiculous shit, I have my limits. Keep your Cassandra in Spain, and it does look way better. So GameStop did manufacture one. It's not on the same level, but yeah, they can get into all that other shit. And at some point too, they got to realize if there's a Netflix and you're Blockbuster, you got to change
Right.
your business model,
Right. Big
or you
time.
got to merge with where things are going. And as much as I love going into GameStop, I like being able to get, games on the cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather pay $15 for the game than $60,
Right, right, right.
if it's in good condition and everything. So I get the value in what they do, but you're right. Like, the way that the market is changing, and the way things have evolved, it's they're in a tough spot. They're
Yeah.
in a tough spot to remain relevant and profitable. I was watching Tim Pool, and he had brought up a good suggestion, which they used to have more stuff like this, because my little brother used to go for like these card tournaments that they would have, but like, you got to do more cultural stuff, like, because there was another one, I think, Play and Trade, that went out of business, but
Yeah.
they used to have like Madden tournaments and stuff
Right,
like
right.
that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Like,
remember that kind of shit.
yeah, so that's probably, and he brought it, and I was like, you know what, that's a good point, because for them to stay relevant, because at this point too, with so many people trying to get, like, you're really being a patron of the arts. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I bought the new Nas album, I didn't care if it was good or not. It's Nas, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna
Right.
support Nas regardless. When Wu Tang drops an album, it doesn't matter if it's Wu Tang Forever or if it's A Better Tomorrow, right? I'm gonna buy it whether it's great or whether it's awful, because I'm gonna support the art. And if we're coming into a more conscious age, you just gotta have to decide, like, if you love the art and the experience of video games, and you want companies like that to exist, to be able to deliver those extra services and products, like, You got to pony up the money. Like it's not $50 for a game anymore. Like if you're really trying to finance, like you have to pay $200 for the collector's edition to keep them in
Yeah.
business because there's no other way. Like you said, just the fact that you can stream, they got streaming services where you can play. I think like what is it, Stadia? Like if you get that Google subscription, you basically can play everything like as much as you want and
You
stream
see what I'm
everything.
saying? And then
Yeah.
Xbox has Game
Game
Pass,
Pass, yep.
and it's like 150 games on there. Some stuff comes and goes, and I see a little slick shit they've been doing too. Like they'll put epic best games ever on there for like a month, and then take them off because they think you're going to play it a little bit, you're going to like it, and then one day you go to play it and it's not on Game Pass no more, so you're going to
Yep.
go buy the full price. I see what they're doing, and I'm not going to fall for it. But Game Pass is is some dope shit. It's some dope shit. And anything, I feel like you would have to be looking for something real specific to say I want to play this specific game for me to even go look for a used version of it or something like that. But if you just want a gaming fix, there's 150 games on there for you to choose from to stream of every different genre, every different type. Like I know if you specifically want to play Assassin's Creed, then yeah, you might have to go buy them, and they got all the downloadable shit, so you can get into
Right.
that. But if you just want to play something, there's no need to go to GameStop and browse around. You can just look right
Right.
into the game, go into Game Pass. They better get a YouTube channel or something and start doing some, some remotely hosted gaming competitions and stuff like that. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I can't imagine them staying alive for much longer in the way things are going with their current model. I don't know who's really going there anymore. That's the reason. What was it? They were expecting it to be at $6 when this whole thing started.
Yeah, they expected it from drop to like 15 to like $6.
Right. So this is where we were as a company. We were getting down
Right.
something that's seen as a staple. Everybody knows the name. It's been around forever. But at this point, they were trying to get rid of it at $6. So what does that tell you about where it was headed?
Yeah,
Without
for sure.
changing, it was going to sink. Period.
And,
Period.
and and that's an industry practice to short sell dying companies. It's a
Yeah.
pretty safe bet.
Yeah. Yeah, they were going. I don't know where they fit in. I mean, people want, controllers and little trinkets and gadgets that go, all of that. They can do
Right.
all of that. But the actual video games themselves, I feel like that ship has sailed, partner. Like you got to figure something. I mean, how many plushies and magazine subscriptions can you really sell? I mean, yeah, maybe it's a nice keychain with Zelda and an ocarina on it, but what do I really need from GameStop
I
other
mean,
than swag?
up
That's
and yeah, up until the PlayStation 4, anytime there would be a release, people would be out like at 12 a.m. because they would release it right at 12 a.m. and there would be a line because
right,
people would want the release right when it came out. And so they would definitely sell out of stuff. Like there was definitely um a demand uh for because for what they were selling or and how they would do it. Like they had a smart setup the way that they would take pre-orders and they call you and deliver whatever.
oh yeah,
Um
yeah,
and,
that
and
was a good
but
hustle.
I just don't know how much money that they were making when they ended up selling out. Okay, so you sold 50 of these games that you sold out your whole shipment day one from pre-orders. I don't think you made that much, and you paid somebody to be there after hours to have the store open for an hour to get all these pre-orders to these people. And yeah, maybe some of them bought some extra stuff or whatever, but I don't know that they were making that much on it. But they definitely depended on the physical releases. Now, once PlayStation 4 came out, um, you had to copy the whole game to the hard drive anyway. Because what you used to do is say, well, I'd rather have the physical copy because I don't want to use up all my storage space. So I'm only going to download some of the games. But once it got to the PlayStation 4, it didn't matter if you had the physical game or not. You had to copy everything to the hard drive.
Right,
So at that point, it's like there's not really a benefit to the physical game. It
right,
doesn't save me any space on the hard drive. I have to take up that much space on the hard drive, and I gotta, take it out and put it back in. It's fucking terrible how lazy we become, like from all these conveniences. Because like even now, as I'm putting in my Simpsons DVDs, I'm like, it is kind of more convenient when you can just stream the next episode and you
right.
hit play.
Right,
Yeah,
right. I feel like some of that might have even been the gaming companies trying to box out the retail places too, because they're
yeah,
losing a little bit. They can just sell it
for
directly to
sure.
the consumer instead of
Yep.
selling it to GameStop at a, it's all behind the scenes. Like I said, the market is going to do what the market does, and these people making these decisions behind the scene. Nobody told from Xbox told GameStop, "Hey, buckle up, because we're going to be phasing y'all out." They just did what was best for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it makes perfect sense. Why would they keep selling DVDs and shit like that? They basically selling CDs to GameStop at a lower price, so GameStop could sell it for you to you for $60 when you can just pay it directly to Xbox for $60. And I guess the only way was if you bought the. I was about to say if you bought the physical copies, sometime they could say you get like a custom skin or some shit like that. But that was special back then. If you did the pre-release and you ordered
Right.
it,
Right. Right.
that was special back then. Now everybody's completely used to the idea of paying an extra $1.99 for the skins or $2.99 for the gun or the map or whatever. So even that accounted, so that hustled it away from GameStop even a little bit more, because people are completely used to paying more now for the games, for the little pieces that they add to the game. So
The
I think
first time. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was saying, I think a couple years ago, I remember they had set it up to where, with the pre-release and everything else, you would get shit that nobody else could have access to other than people who did the pre-release. So that was
Right.
special. But you can't, that don't really exist anymore.
They phased it out though, because
Right.
I remember I pre-ordered Brotherhood because I wanted the Harlequin. Like they sold me. I'm like, yeah, I want to stab people with a fucking ridiculous clown looking character. I agree with you, GameStop. I will pre-order. I will pre-order to get the
That's how
Harlequin.
they get you.
Right, and it was cool. I was happy that I got it. It was one of my favorite games, and the multiplayer to me was the shit. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. They phased it out, but eventually they gave it out to everybody anyway.
Right.
So I kind of felt like I showed up early.
Right.
I pre-ordered it like you told me to. I'm only supposed to be the Harlequin. You can't give the Harlequin. You can't make it free to everybody.
You cheapened
You
it.
right. You you turned my Harlequin into a whore. You
Right.
cheapened him.
She was mine. She was special. Yeah, and yeah, so it's a whole new economy now of the DLC. People are completely
Right.
used to it. They just gonna click the button. They're not even gonna ask how much it costs. They're just
Yep.
gonna do it. So GameStop is losing at every turn when you think about it. Even the game designers themselves are working to phase out the middleman, as they should. Technically, as they should. You had to see this coming.
Well, this wasn't the first because there was a huge controversy. I'm sure you remember it a little while back. All the backlash reaction to Xbox wanting to introduce like a CD code so that when you bought the game, you entered into the code and that unlocked it. And that was it.
Right.
And it was to cut back from GameStop being able to sell
I
used
remember
games.
that. I
And
remember that.
people were up in arms like, yo, you fucking pieces of shit. So they were going to take a hit because people were the backlash was so much that they wanted to phase them out. They knew that they were digging in to potentially their income, like they're going to buy it from you for 15 instead of buying it from me for 60. So I need to find a way to cut that out, and the way that they tried to get it cut out really made them look like assholes. So
Right.
they're like, okay, cool. We're just gonna make everything digital. You can download it right from the Xbox or the PlayStation servers, and they never need to show up to you again. So that's how we'll do it. We'll move
Yeah.
everything digital.
And I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to phase out all the middle people. All the retailers are going to disappear. It's just going to be digital, direct from the supplier. But what's going to happen is they're going to price themselves out because they think they have a monopoly on it. You got to come to me. There's no more used games. So people are going to be like, you know what? I don't even care that much. I would have played it for $15, but I don't want it for 75. I don't care that
Yep.
much. So
Yep.
the interest is gonna, people are gonna start losing interest, and the price is gonna have to come down to meet the interest, and
And
it'll level itself out somewhere in the middle.
yep, and there's a reason why people want the physical copy because you're only licensing when you have the digital copy. So they're not obligated to make sure that you have it. Like there's people right now with Nintendo and Super Nintendo cartridges that they could still play right now. But
Right.
the moment you get it on a digital, it's assuming that the infrastructure is there. And Nintendo and PlayStation have been slick with that shit where they're like, yeah, so it's on a different machine now. So you got to buy it again if you want to have access to it. Nintendo was the worst. Like if like they didn't even give you an account. So if like you bought a new Wii and you bought like Legend of Zelda, like the Nintendo one from the Wii Virtual Store, you didn't have an account where you could just go re-download your shit. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
hey, got a new Wii, $5.99. You know you want it. Just buy it again. It's only
Buy
$5.
it. Yeah. Buy it again.
It's like, no, I want the fucking cartridge. I want to be able to have it. Because also, too, especially with all this cancel culture, like just imagine you bought all these digital games and you spent thousands of dollars for all of these games. And one day they're just like, no, we're shutting down your account. We didn't like your Facebook post, so you can't access our store anymore. And in the license agreement, they could terminate you if they want. And
Right.
what could you do to get access to it? Like I
Yeah.
think
That
there was
sucks.
one case where like the government legislature got involved to be like, yo, you need to give them their access to their games back.
Let this person play their video
Right.
games. That's horrible, dude. Why you want to stop people from playing video games? That should be the last bastion that they have to, retreat to when the rest of the world you can't tweet no more. You got kicked off Facebook. At least you got to be able to play some video games.
Yeah, if I mean that is like the most isolated place you can be socially.
Right.
Like you're already locked in your room, you're away from the real world, you're talking to other people shut into their rooms. If
Right.
you're community, like if you cut them off from that, like I mean, you got a school shooter on your hands.
Yeah, we need to leave that. That needs to stay open. You can't
Yeah.
be cutting people off from the video games.
But
That's the
maybe they
last
shouldn't be on
place.
Twitter. I agree with you.
Right. Keep them off Twitter. Maybe they don't need to have a PayPal account. I don't know. It depends on what their opinion was, obviously. Certain opinions can bar you from having a PayPal account, but I don't know about all that. But they should be able to play video games at the very
But you
least.
you gotta let them play Miles Morales, which
Yeah.
by the way, I was wrong. It's not DLC. It's a whole new game.
Word?
I was like, you motherfuckers just released the game like last year.
Right. Yeah. Because I
It
remember
wasn't that
seeing a
long
whole bunch
ago.
of stuff from it. And then when I saw the new one, I figured they just like reskinned it or made an extra little peep, but they made a whole new game.
That's my understanding of it. I thought it was just a DLC, and I looked into it. I'm like, oh no, this is a whole new game.
That's awesome. Miles
Yeah.
Morales deserves a game. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, I'll be wanting to play some of this shit, but I'm definitely not getting another console. That's for sure. I did these console exclusive things. We need to get rid of that too. I don't like console exclusivity. We need to
Listen,
get rid of that.
I'm gonna float an idea out there. At the compound, we should have like a little activities area
Oh, for sure.
that's treated with sacred care, where we can have like the systems accessible, like
Yeah.
communal gaming. Like
Yeah,
you know what?
100%.
I never bought the Miles Morales PlayStation game, and I always wanted to play it. And it's like, sir, behold,
We have it.
we
We
have
have
it.
it. Hey,
It's a
you said
part
you
of
never actually beat The Legend of Zelda when you were young, and you don't want to
it.
go through the stress of trying to beat it. Come watch us. We have a pro who's going to speed run it for you, and you get to experience it all right now. Yeah,
Listen,
communal gaming for sure.
we just, if you don't
100%.
mind, if you could help us build some of this hemp plastic in the factory a few
Right.
hours a day, if you could help us get these crops, I mean, you're going to be eating from the crops too, so it's really your own food supply as well. But
Right.
if we all labor together, we don't need the government to hold a gun to our heads to force us to do it. But for the cost benefit, right, analysis, you have to be able to see the value in this lifestyle. We don't need to sleep with your wives. We're not taking all of your possessions away from you. In fact, for your commitment of labor and getting this thing off the ground, behold, we have communal resources to be shared by all. Just don't ruin it for everybody. Treat the shit right.
Right. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. It's definitely going on a compound. 100%. What you got to have a community gaming room with everything, every console, right? Everything that we can get our hands on, every possible, yeah, all of it.
Because eventually one of the people that shows up on the compound, they're gonna be like a whiz who knows how to like resolder all of this shit and fix everything and keep
Yep.
everything up and running. Like I don't know who the guy was, like on the in the Matrix that was on the little spaceship. I know how to repair this and
Yeah.
like we're
Yeah,
gonna
he's
have one
probably
of those
named
guys
after
with
a
the goggles.
tool. He's gonna be
Right.
named after a tool.
Hammer, get in here. We need the switch is acting up again.
Yeah.
Needs to be
All day.
recalibrated.
All day. Yeah, I like that. I like that room already. Because you know what it is? It's like it's good to be able to tap into that shit. And not everybody is gonna spend 8, 9 hours on it like a lot of some people do, you know what I'm saying? Because of streaming and all that stuff that's going on right now. But some people just need a quick fix. You know, it's like, oh, I want to play Legend of Zelda. Like, how much time do you really think you would put in on Legend of Zelda right now? You know, an hour a day maybe, if you decide to really get into it, an hour or two. But you're not going to freaking burn massive amounts of hours on something like that. It's just a quick fix over time maybe, because I had a game I used to play called Warframe, and I'm pretty sure I put in at least 3,000 hours on that game over the course of a few years.
Dude, I I think I just got over 400 hours and I just got to the final DLC for Odyssey. That shit is so ridiculous.
Wow,
It's
400 hours.
it's so ridiculous. It's so much. And at this point, like I'm still enjoying it, but I'm like, I just wanna beat this shit. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, you don't plan on playing the game, do you? You care about spoilers or
No, no. I'm
okay?
probably because it's on PlayStation, right?
Nah, it's on Xbox too.
Oh, it is on Xbox. Okay.
Yeah, all the Assassin's Creeds are on all of them.
Okay.
It's except the Switch. The Switch only gets like the old ones. But so like you play through like her entire life, like it's entire with cradle to the grave. Just it's everything. This chick gets married. She has kids. Her husband is murdered, and this is after you've beaten the game. You've killed the
What?
Minotaur. You've killed like 3 Cyclops. You killed Medusa. You've eliminated all of the cult members that were controlling the world surreptitiously behind the scenes. You find about a whole nother cult in Persia, and then you got to start assassinating all their cult. I mean, it's just, and it's the entire map of Greece. Like, okay, that's cool. You did this here. Here's the thing: we have to sail all the way to that other island, and we have to like it takes fucking forever. And then sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I could just warp to that area, but this shit looks. Let me just ride my horse. Let me just ride my horse all the way over there and make it take
Right.
even longer.
Right.
And now she found some whole other shit where now it's oh, and by the way, you have to conquer all the Greek gods. So we know you killed some mythological creatures. The game has taken hundreds of hours, but just a couple few more things. Now you need to go to the underworld. You need to kill Persephone. You need to kill Cerberus. We got more shit for you to do. I'm like, yo, this shit never fucking ends. It never fucking ends. But I did look into it, and it's like, okay, there was 2 DLCs. This next one that I'm on is the final one, and then I'm done. I'm done with this fucking game. I'm done. It's
Good
taking way too
Lord.
much time,
I'm
dude.
looking at
It's
it right now. Is they first of all they have let's just hooray for the market, right? We were talking about they have the standard edition, the deluxe edition,
oh
the
yeah.
gold edition, and the ultimate edition. Okay? And then we have the season pass. I don't even know what that means. This $40 for an Assassin's Creed season pass. I don't know what's the season pass. So then
Okay.
you have the Fate of Atlantis, Legacy of the First Blade, the Helix credits double XL pack. What is all this shit, bro?
Okay. See now that what you just got into, that's the Fortnite hustle. That's if oh you don't want to spend time playing this game, just buy some Helix credits. You can get all of the stuff for free. You don't have to
Oh
run around
wow.
searching for and slaying enemies. You wear that super duper T-shirt and cape. That other people
Oh,
worked
so you
for. You
just
can just get
oh
it.
okay. You could just buy, you just pay to win.
You can just buy certain stuff. Yeah, for
Now
certain things.
is it just cosmetic shit or is it shit that actually helps you play the game better?
That's just cosmetic stuff, I believe.
Okay, okay,
Like the
I
kind
got you.
of horse you got, and look at all the cosmetic things that they got. So you get a ship, but what color is your ship? What
Yeah.
kind of symbol is on the sails to your ship? Moreover, the crew members that work the ship and pull the sail and shoot the
Mhm.
arrows at your enemies. What do the crew members look like? They have different cosmetic skins for all of that shit. And
Wow.
some of it you can earn or you can get at random, and some of the shit you gotta buy.
It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. Why would they ever need GameStop?
And here's the thing too, that both of those things are like little side games that take like 4 or 5 hours just by themselves, or some maybe more depending on how deep you want to get into it. Like the Legacy of the First Blade, that's the one I just got done beating. That shit took a good hot minute to
So
get
this
through.
is
It was like a whole
basically
nother game. Yeah.
side quests that used to be in the game back in the day.
Well, this is
They
what
just broke them out of the game to sell to you separately.
this is what they did to piecemeal it out. So the way I see it is they had some really ambitious ideas, but the game has to get to market by a certain time,
Right,
right?
right.
So
Okay.
they plan on getting these things in there, but they're just not going to be ready in time. So they're like, okay, we wanted to do all these extra things, we wanted to tell this extra story, but this would be like another 6 months of delays, and we've already spent hundreds of millions of dollars. We got to get this product to market. So when you buy, and those gold editions and ultimate editions, they come with the season pass. So what the season pass lets you do is anything they're dropping after the game, you automatically have access to. But if you want to buy it piecemeal, you could buy each separate DLC for like 20 or 30 bucks
Which
on its
costs
own.
overall more than if you would have got the season pass.
And that's how they get you.
Oh my
That
gosh,
that
what a
not
beautiful hustle.
Now hold on. Here's the thing. They're not even telling you the real deal. Cuz there's more than the ultimate editions. Okay? I just found out that they're for Origins, the one in Egypt, another one that took forever, right? So you got the Steelbook edition, the gold edition. Then you have three different tiers of ultimate editions. You got like the regular ultimate edition that comes with the season pass, right? But then you got the the dawn the dawn of the gods, and then there's another one I forgot the name of it. And the difference is they come with different giant statues. That's the difference, and they're like 400 or 500 bucks online. And just to be clear, I didn't pay 400 or 500 bucks for mine. I got mine on a deal on eBay for like 150. Okay, I meet them down. I made sure I got it at a steal, but that's what it's going for right now. So it's and they did the same one with Odyssey in Greece. They got it to where there's one I saw online. It's selling for like 800 bucks because it comes with a super duper huge figure, and it's not just one guy, but it's also the guy that he's stabbing, and that's like an extra. This is a higher tier edition
You
because
pay
it's
more
a
for the victim.
yes. If we're gonna now, if you just want to strike a cool pose, that's cool. That's the regular Ultimate Edition. But the super duper, even forget what they call it. They got all these. One was like the Medusa edition. The other one was like the Spartan edition. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous, and they're
It's a
all
great
being like
hustle.
sold out of Russia at like 5,000% markups. If you want to import them in, they're available.
That's beautiful, dude.
It's insanity, man.
It's beautiful. They got something for everybody. I love it because there's people who don't give a shit about this, but there's other shit that they're completely ready for to
Right.
buy the season pass for.
They just want to experience the game.
Right.
If you want to experience the game, chances are if you wait till you get a deal, you could still probably get the whole game and the DLC for like 20 or 30 bucks if you're willing to wait a year and it's
Right.
old.
Right. And I feel that. That's dope too, because I'm totally one of those people. I didn't play I missed the hype about Red Dead Redemption 2. You know, I had
Yeah.
heard about it and all of that, but I'm not like the chaser because I know I don't have the time and energy to be after it. But when I saw it on Game Pass, I was like, oh, I'll check it out, and it's probably the best game I've ever played in my life. And
Dude,
I'm happy that it was on Game Pass.
I heard it's super dope. I got it for 30 bucks. I
Bro,
haven't
it's worth
started
it.
it yet.
It's a absolutely amazing game, bro.
Yeah, I
Definitely,
heard it's shit.
yeah, probably the best game I've ever played. And that used to be Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid and a few of those games in that series were very near and dear to my heart. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption, bro.
That's one of the ones I went back because I never beat it. I'm playing it on the Vita right now. I
What's
think I
that? Metal
just
Gear Solid?
yeah, I think I just got past like Sniper Wolf. I don't know. I think I'm like almost on the end because it switched over to disc 2.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right after the sniper wolf fight.
Yep, and when you look at like even in looking back at it, because the PlayStation 1 graphics were ugly, but yo, Metal Gear Solid, yo, that shit was super ahead of its time. I'm like, yo, I
Genius.
see why this shit was so dope. And I think it was like 95 or 96, like it was
Yeah,
old.
early. Oh yeah, genius game, man. I love that game, dude. And the other one too. Which one was it? Well, both Metal Gear Solid, and then there was Metal Gear Solid 2. That one was kind of fun, but you had the secondary character running around most of the time. But then Snake Eater was one
Yeah,
that was
3
real
I heard
dope
was the
too.
shit.
Snake Eater was fire, bro. So yeah, I remember those joints. But and I think they were on Game Pass for a while. I downloaded the I think it was maybe the first two games together in a pack. And I downloaded it. I might have put in, 15, 20 minutes playing it. I was like, I'm not gonna go through this all again. But when I saw it available for download, it's like, that
You had
nostalgia hit,
to.
and I was like, I gotta have it. But then once I actually cracked into it, I was like, nah, I ain't gonna play this shit again. But
it,
but it's dope
it
that it's
holds
there,
up pretty
man.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it, bro. I loved it. I remember getting dope enough to where you could sneak around and you could put C4 on the backs of the guards
Yeah.
without them. That was like some of my favorite shit to do because sometimes their patrol shit would overlap. So if you C4 the right dude and wait for him
Yeah.
to walk past the other guys and blow them
Faking
all
them
up at the
all out.
same. Yeah, that game was fire, bro. Yeah,
Dude, super ahead of his time. I haven't, and I tend to do this because of my OCD ishness, but I'm like, yo, I gotta beat the first one before I go to the next one. I gotta do them in order. So I
yeah,
bought it a while ago for like, I think for $40. I got the collection, which has like I think it's the first four or five of them, like Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think it might even have the ones on Nintendo, the regular Metal Gears.
right, right.
But I'm like, yo, let me go through these in order and keep up with the story. Like
Yeah,
it's that riveting. But I'm just
it's
so
worth it.
yeah,
It's worth it because some stories are like some games you just want to play for the fun of it, but that's one
yeah.
of those games that the story was just so, and especially with Metal Gear because so much of it is based in reality.
Oh
Like
yeah, with like the Black Ops shit, the secret
right,
missions,
right,
and
and the
yeah,
dates and the missions
yeah,
that they're talking about, like it's real shit going on in the background of this game, and they kind of just weave Solid Snake in to a place that a person really could have been at that time,
right.
experiencing that kind of. That's what makes it dope because it's not just some shit that they completely made up out in the fantasy world. It's kind of rooted in reality. But yeah, that shit was dope, man. I remember playing them. I remember playing especially Metal Gear Solid 2, because it had more. They expanded more characters and more people got brought into it. It was characters in that game that I remember right now to this day. I would probably either play a whole nother game, or if somebody developed it into like a animated Netflix series or something, that I'd watch based around side characters in Metal Gear.
Damn.
100%, bro. That dope. That dope. What? Oh
Yeah,
shit.
you good?
Yeah, yeah. I just saw that was my phone buzzing and shit.
Yeah,
I
man.
saw
We
that.
can. Nah, we could wrap it up, man. We put. I think we're almost at 2 hours.
Oh shit. Yeah, we are almost exactly. Oh yeah, 152. That's awesome, man. I'm glad we got the extra one in. This shit was good.
Yeah, man.
this,
Absolutely.
this shit was good. It's always good to get some extra ones. And we almost at the 1 year mark.
Yeah, we gonna have to have some like super extravaganza, and like bring on like the 3 or 4 guests that we've had for like little 5 minute cameos,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
our first year.
yeah. Cuzzo, see, he's long overdue for an appearance.
Yeah, man.
He's long overdue for an appearance. We need to rope him back in, see what he's feeling like, who's on his list, who do we need to pay some attention to? Are there any specific races that need attention? I know
I
he's
don't know.
usually
I think you got his name wrong. I think it's like Dwayne or something. I don't know.
oh possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we need to get him drunk and ask how he feels about certain people groups.
Roger.
Just see. Dwayne Rogers
All of those guys.
Sanchez or something. I don't remember. I
Yeah,
don't
get
know.
him drunk,
I
get him a
barely
few
know him.
drinks.
Yeah.
They're the one guy we called by mistake that time.
Yeah.
The golden, yeah, the tirade still is that's
Yeah,
historical.
dude, let's get this $2 million each as quickly as possible, and get the unreleased tapes.
Yeah.
Because that's the agreement. Once you got 2 mil in the bank, I got 2 mil in the bank, and he's got 2 mil in the bank. There's no reason to be beholden to anybody. The unreleased tapes drop, regardless.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're coming out. Once we make sure everybody's family's taken care of, we're, you know what I'm
Your
saying?
kids are in no jeopardy of
No
starving.
jeopardy. We letting it all out. We letting it all out. When you're uncancelable, that's when it'll see the light of day.
Yeah. I will there need and that needs to come in like a special gold collector set. You get the little you get the little mini DVD,
The box set, the cult box set.
and it comes like in like some like Chinese foot binding box. It looks like
Yeah,
a
you
little
gotta
looks like a little tiny
unfold it.
foot.
Oh, it's horrible, but it's hilarious. So what you're saying is we need more merch.
Yeah,
We need more
absolutely.
merch. If I'm learning anything from Assassin's Creed, we got to figure out how to start parsing this shit out the right way.
Yo,
So
cause
we
some
take
asshole's gonna get
advantage.
on eBay and drop like 2 grand on shit that's gonna sit on a bookshelf. So
Right.
of course you need that. Of course we need the
And
merch.
he's gonna be happy with it. He didn't get screwed. He's gonna be
No,
happy he paid for it because it's on his bookshelf.
listen, listen.
I'm
I
with it.
spent a lot of money on MacBook and panties. I don't want to be told what I can spend my money on.
Yeah, as long as that's taken care of, as long as you got that out of the way,
Listen,
it's all downhill from there, bro.
because that's the only thing is it can be thrown in my face like, yo, you motherfucker, you spent that much on yourself. And I think she kind of knows too, because she'll try to leverage more. Like, I want to get this too. I want to get that too. Like it's like she's got like a little radar. Like, yeah, you spent some money on yourself. You feel
Oh
guilty.
my
Yeah, you need to
gosh.
spend some money on me. You fucking selfish
Exploit that
bastard.
guilt. Exploit
Yeah,
that guilt. Hey,
yeah.
listen, you got to get it how you can get it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I don't mind, and she's not even subtle about it. She's just like, listen, this is what I need you to get for me. I know you spent money on yourself. I need a MacBook. All right, dear, I love you. No problem. I'll get you a
That's yeah.
MacBook.
That's probably a lot easier. That's probably a lot easier. I think that's actually better. You don't want the passive aggressive. I'm gonna be angry till you buy it type. Yeah,
Oh,
just put it on the table. Let me know what it. Just give me the checklist, and you can knock it all off, and everybody's happy.
nah, my girl, she knows how to deal with my autism. She makes it basic. She makes it super basic. There's no guessing because we've tried that, and she'll just be shocked, like, wow, you really will never get it. Yep, I'll never get it. I'll never
Yeah.
understand. You have to tell me directly. I will not be able to divine it. Like you couldn't tell I was upset, not until you hit me. No, I couldn't.
Not until you
It
hit
just
me.
I didn't I didn't know. Now it's clear. Now I can fix the problem.
It depends on how early that. Let's see if that happens early. You all good. You just don't wait it out. You know what I'm saying?
Don't
Just
let
get right to it. Let's get right to it. We can knock it off. Everybody's happy, dude. No problem.
don't don't let the resentment fester.
Keep the
Don't let
violence
the
to a
bitterness.
minimum. Keep
Yeah.
the violence to a minimum. Oh, but yeah, this is awesome, man. You did the right thing on all fronts. You did the right thing.
I was second guessing it, but now that I've heard it from you, I feel better. I'm confident that I did. Thank you.
Yeah, and when we get to this place where I'm able to do the same thing, I'm gonna tell you about it in great detail, shamelessly.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about the Shaw Brothers Collection Dojo DVD set. It comes in a life size dojo
It,
sign,
it
and
came with
there's
the dojo.
and there's little rivets going all the way up the dojo doorway arch that fit one of the 430 Shaw Brothers films.
Right. Yeah. I'm
And
on
right in
board.
the center is like a little plasma TV, so it's like set up specifically to watch it.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm going to do, and I think this might be a good exercise for anybody, and it's probably a lot of people already doing this, but I'm about to just start an Amazon wish list.
Mm.
So I'm gonna go look for shit that I would spend frivolously on, and I'm gonna save it.
Line it up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna line it up now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna try to hide it or try to like deny that I would do it. I'm just gonna look for the things that I think would make me spend frivolously, just so I can see myself. Yeah, I think that's a good exercise. I'm gonna get on that immediately.
I love it, bro. I love
Yeah.
it. I look forward to it, and I hope we can talk about the full procurement of that list in its entirety before we get to another anniversary episode.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's
Let's put that out there.
highly likely. Very highly likely. Indeed, man. So yo, I'm gonna wrap it up. This was an excellent episode. Everything was riveting and beautiful.
Remember, Pinky's a piece of shit. Let's just you don't even got it. Don't hurt your brain thinking about what the title will be.
Yeah,
Let's
it's already said and done. That's
there we
it.
go.
That's it. Filed.
Excellent.
Yeah, man. Enjoy the rest of the night, brother.
You do likewise, man. Always a pleasure, my brother. Be easy,
All
man.
right.
Until the
Peace.
next one. Later.